There are some little tricks that professional piano players use to suddenly elevate their playing. It's those little things they do that make a professional sound like a pro, sound impressive. So today I'm going to share with you 3 of those things, 3 of those little hacks that you can use to suddenly take your simple playing and make it sound super impressive. Now stick around to the end to see how you can take really basic elements of music and add that professional sheen to them using these 3 hacks. The first hack will take your chords from sounding like this to this. So this first hack, this first technique is what we call pedal point. It might sound like a peculiar name, but all it means, all that pedal is what the left hand is doing here. We are what we call pedaling these 2 notes of C. C and C an octave apart. Now to keep things simple, if you wanted to, you could just do one of these Cs, because maybe stretching the hand like that across the octave is a bit difficult for you, but it has a similar effect whether you have 1 C or 2 Cs. And all my right hand is doing over that pedal of C is moving through 4 different chords: G major, A minor, D minor, and C. And to be honest, any white note chords will work for this. You notice all 4 of those chords are just the white notes, right? And they're that simple triad shape of where we play a note, skip a note, play a note, skip a note, play a note. Any chord like that will sound great over this pedaled C. So there I was sort of pumping away at the C, but you could keep it really simple. You could just hold it. Just moving my right hand around different chords on the white notes, keeping that shape the same. So what's happening here basically is the C underneath all of the things we're playing, this C here, is changing the context of the chords up here. So they stop being simple, what we call triad chords, 3-note chords. Tri, like a triangle, right? Triad chord. They stop just being simple triads because the left hand is introducing another dimension to them, another note. So when we have the G major triad, but with C underneath, we're actually playing quite a sort of sophisticated chord. It's what you could refer to as a major 9 chord, but you don't need to worry about that. All you need to think about is I'm shoving random white note chords over my pedal point of C. Hack number 2 will give you a really great sounding chord progression, a really great string of chords, without you even needing to know how or why they work. All you do is you start with a chord. Let's start with C major, C, E and G. And all this hack involves is with each chord you choose to either move the bottom note of the chord down 1 step, or, let's go back to C, or you can move the top note up 1 step. And if you do that, you're always going to result with chords that sound good together, because they're always going to have at least 2 out of 3 notes in common, because we're only changing 1 of the 3 notes. So let's start on that C chord. And you can either just hold it, or you can give it a bit of a rhythm, or you could even arpeggiate it, which is when you go up and down the notes, right? But I'm just going to play it with a simple rhythm, and then the bottom note I'm going to move down 1 white note from C to B, and I'm going to do it again. Bottom note's gone down to A now. And then again. And then if you wanted to, you could get the left hand involved, because now, if I want to move this G lower, it's going to be a bit of a stretch to do it in one hand. So maybe I'll give the F to my left hand. And that allows me to get even bigger chords, right? Or, like I mentioned before, we can take the top note of the chord, so in this case G, and start moving it up one by one. So this is our C chord, normal C chord. Now the G at the top is going to go up one white note like that. And again, up to the B note. And maybe I come back down again, you know? Creates like a melody in the chords. Sounds really sophisticated, but all you're doing is just moving one note at a time. And we could combine the two different approaches, moving the top note and moving the bottom note. So imagine here, now that I'm on this chord, I can move the bottom note. Like that, see? And now I'm going to move the top note down. Move the bottom note down. You see how it always creates a chord that sort of sounds like it belongs with the previous one. Even if it's a bit of a weird chord, it has to sort of make some sort of sense, because we've only changed one note in the overall chord compared to the previous chord. So you wind up with a really interesting chord progression, but you don't even need to know what those chords are, what happened. It just all had to work together. So it's a great hack for creating cool and sort of concise chord progressions that just smoothly work together. Make sure you stick around today to learn about our third hack, our third and final hack, which will actually unlock to you a very famous piano song that I know you'll recognize. Our last hack today is all about playing really jazzy, lush chords without even knowing what they are. We can just use this simple technique to arrive at these jazzy chords. And we don't need to know that they're seventh chords. We can just know that they sound really great and really impressive. So all we have to do for this is apply this simple technique. We start with a chord in our right hand, a white note chord. So once again, like we have with all of the other hacks, I'm going to start with C major, C, E and G. Then we have to add a note with our left hand. And how we get to this note is we start on the bottom note of the chord we're currently on. So this is C, so we're going to start with C. And we go down 2 notes, 1, 2. And that gets us to the note A. And we could just stop here. This could be enough. And what we can do with this shape, as you can hear, it's got that lush sound to it. We can move this shape up and down the piano and get these lush chords. But how to really maximize the impact of this is, once you've got this shape where we've got a C major chord and then we've gone down 2 notes to get A, to really maximize the sound, we can then drop what the left hand is doing down by an octave. So I was playing A here, now I'm playing A here. And as you can hear, that really gives us that depth of tone. And like I did before, I can now move that shape up and down the piano and know that I'm going to keep finding one of these jazzy 7th chords. But I don't need to know that they're 7th chords. I can just move the shape and enjoy the sound. The way I'm moving my arms, you can see they're almost moving as if they're connected, right? That's what we want, because then we can maintain the shape that we've got between the 2 chords. The gap between them, the gap between our 2 hands is what's creating this lush sound. And once we've got these chords, we can do all sorts of things with them. We could add sort of arpeggios to them. Start sounding like Alicia Keys. So those were 3 easy piano hacks to turn your chords, turn your playing from really simple stuff to really impressive stuff. If you can think of any other hacks, any other little tricks that can maximize and boost your playing, then do let me know down below in the comments. These 3 hacks, these 3 ideas that I'm sharing with you today aren't things I was taught by a teacher. They're things I came across myself during my own piano career as a professional piano player. So if you'd like to benefit from more of these tips and tricks, these little nuggets that I've picked up during my time as a professional player, then do check out my course available exclusively on HDpiano. During my Piano Essentials course, I look at loads of different techniques, loads of little skills you need to elevate your playing from beginner to expert level. So if that sounds good to you, then do follow the links down below to check it out.